Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. Continuing here in the setup, outside of my home. I'll be back 6th of October to the castle. So a little bit, about half a month to go. If you do enjoy the content, in any case, just drop that like and subscribe. As you guys know, that greatly helps the channel. So today I wanted to go, give a quick market update, but also go to the bullish case for the last quarter and beginning of next year. But let's start first with the bullish case, or the market update. So what you're seeing is a further price in of the 50 basis rate cut. In my view, I'm a bit more in favor of the 25 basis points cut. I do see the argument for the 50. The 50 is a bit like, what if they cut 25 and then within 3 weeks something really bad happens, and then they need to come up and cut 75 or something, and all of a sudden they stand to look foolish. At the same time, if they cut 50 right now, it gives the impression to the market that something way worse underneath is happening. In any case, you can make an argument for 25 or for 50. Above that, I think, or below that, I think the market will react extremely negatively, because it's either extreme things going around, or basically you need to price out the already priced in rate cuts. Bonds remain fairly stable. The dollar is a bit stronger. Gold is selling off a little bit, but it's been extremely strong. I think once again we are pricing in, if they start cutting rates, we're going to have inflation. This happened back in 2010 and 2011. And then people found out that, actually printing money does not cause inflation. It causes asset price inflation. So it pushes money out of things like CDs, things like money market funds, things like short-term debt instruments. They move you into equities, crypto, and the like. And then what you find out is that tech stocks and crypto in particular perform better than anything else. You only have inflation if you CPI type of inflation, if you do give the money directly to people. As long as you have the banks as intermediaries, that's never going to happen. Source for that, look at 30 years of Japan. Then I do think a lot of the rate cuts have been priced in. I still think it wouldn't surprise me if you have a buy the rumor, sell the news event, meaning the day of the rate cuts actually being a sell-off, sell the news event. How long will it last? How strong will it be? Well, it will depend, number one, on the rate cuts, because if you cut 50 right now, maybe the market prices that next time we skip one. Who knows? I mean, typically, you guys know me. I don't like the concept of a buy the rumor, buy the news event, because first of all, I've never seen one. Number two, you can always make an argument why this time is different and this time will be a buy the rumor, buy the news. I don't think so. Then there was another attempt to end a certain candidate's life, and actually the markets barely reacted. This is the point of any news. So the first time it has a big impact, the second time a lower impact, the third time a lower impact, so on and so forth. I mean, to the point where, even the reaction in the media is, they tried again, that's fine, and moving on, and it's like, that's normal, right? This happens every time, right? It's every other Tuesday we have something. No, this is the disturbing part of when human beings get exposed to an event. Can be any event you can think of. Remember the zombie virus time period, right? Every time the news came out, the number of people infected, blah, 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 it had a lower and lower impact over time. Same thing as on the other side, when they were coming up with these treatments, right? These vaccines, every time you had a positive news, it meant less and less. Okay, so this is a lesson for maybe newcomers in the market, where a repeated event will have less and less impact over time. Then Bitcoin has actually ramped up quite nicely to 61,000 at the time of this recording. Maybe we sold off a little bit. I still think September tends to be a bit of a tricky month. I'm a bit torn apart because September tends to be a rectember, right? Tends to be a distraction. Or September, right? With the bear at the end. And indeed, historically speaking, I think we had 3 green Septembers out of 14, something like that. So indeed, it's an historical fact that September tends to be quite harsh. However, the beginning of September was quite harsh. We sold off to 52,200 to 52,000 around that mark. As you guys know, 52,250 was the number I was looking at. I think we went to 52,235 or something. Depends on the exchange you're looking at. I'm sure some exchanges may have touched 51. Some exchanges may have stopped at 53. It depends a little bit on which exchange you're looking at. But once again, we went to that level. Why was that level so important? 50-week moving average. Simple, not exponential, simple. That's it. We tested it. We went straight back up. And here we are above 60K once again. Will the market be front run once again? And shall we start pumping at the later stages of September as everybody anticipates a strong quarter 4? Maybe. This has for sure been a front running cycle across all metrics. So it wouldn't surprise me if they try to push it a bit sooner for a couple of weeks or so. Then, moving to the bullish case for the quarter 4 and the remaining of the cycle. Grayscale has sold more than half of its holdings of Bitcoin. The Germans are out of Bitcoin. There are strong rumors that the DOJ has been selling Bitcoin for a long time, and actually they're almost out from the Silk Road sell-off event. CZ is coming out of prison. FTX creditors will receive $16.16 billion, not Bitcoin, dollars, as a return of what happened with the FTX, extravaganza, right? So the market will be receiving $16 billion. What else? Mt. Gox coins, I believe, have been all distributed, so the sellers are being exhausted as well. So the point being, a lot of big sellers are being exhausted. And the point is, once they're exhausted, they have nothing left to sell. So when the price is going up, there's no one to harm the price. We've been in 6 months of consolidation / corrective period. I think we've been here long enough to rinse out all these weekends, all the people that came in January and February 2024, and they thought they were Warren Buffett. So those people have now been cleansed, are now out the weeks. And also when I say weekends, it doesn't mean just, people like you and me. Big players, like Germany and so on. I get the feeling that Germany will be played quite a bit in crypto memes. Something like, remember when Germany was selling Bitcoin at 50K, and then, you fill in the gaps. I think some alts are starting to show some life. Finally, the Pulse Chain ecosystem, PLS, PLSX, Inc., Hydron, Icosa, which are not from Richard Hart, but in the case X, are all starting to show some humph, which I think going forward will probably be better and better. We are approaching big time elections, so I do expect some volatility. I do expect Bitcoin to be above 80K in any case by the second half of November. And very importantly, liquidity is increasing day by day. The Fed I think, will start playing its part to try to get a certain recurring administration re-elected. The Treasury has already done it, so they already have basically $1 trillion ready to go to boost to prop up the economy in preparation of the elections and the markets. You see stocks also stabilizing to the upside. By the way, all those people that were predicting the end of the world, I would like to see how they react to yesterday's Dow Jones a record close once again. So the people that were saying, like Harry Dent, that the end has begun, we just made a new all-time high in the Dow Jones yesterday. So I'm quite curious about how the doom and gloomers will react. But in any case, in summary, the bullish case is seller exhaustion, big sellers and small sellers alike, as I've just mentioned. Germany, Mt. Gox, reportedly, allegedly, DOJ, Grayscale, and the miners have been selling almost all of their excesses. A big potential buying from the FTX settlement, CZ, one of the big players coming out of jail, liquidity index starting to ramp up quite nicely, liquidity starting to expand, rate cuts and easy money to return, debt expansion to be accelerated in Q4 with $1 trillion from the Treasury. All in all, everything is extremely positive, and we are entering the typical best quarter for crypto, particularly in halving years, which is Q4. Believe it or not, we are 2 weeks away from that. Will we front run a little bit end of September, as I was a bit inclined to say? Maybe. I still think the rate cuts in and of itself will be a sell the news event. Let's see, maybe I'm completely wrong and we witness our first buy the rumor, buy the news event. That's possible. Can it be a sell the news event very short? Let's say that lasts 2 or 3 days, that lasts a week, that lasts 1 day and a half, whatever. It all depends on how quickly the market starts to price in the other rate cuts. That's it. We are far away from that. Why do I call the cycle to be a super cycle or in steroids in case of Trump winning? Because if Trump wins, first of all, you have all the regulatory ambience of the US behind you instead of against you, like now. Now, as I've told you, even if Kamala Harris wins, we're still going to have a good cycle, but potentially not, the cycle on steroids as you would have with Trump, because you would have some headwinds instead of tailwinds. It's really that simple. There's no big secret. So obviously, if you become a part of a strategic asset class for the US government, that probably will spread out to other countries. So that will be incredibly important. Number 2, I do believe the economy will do substantially well under him rather than her. But most importantly, and here is the key, I think he has the potential to end the 2 conflicts, the one in the Middle East and the one in Europe. If that happens, we can start to price in perfection once again, in the sense of price in. Understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying the economy and the world will be perfect. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the markets will start to price in lower inflation, ability to further cut rates, lower taxes, regulatory support for Bitcoin, government support for Bitcoin and crypto in general, end of conflicts and wars. People say, oh my God, with the end of the wars, supply chains declog, inflation goes even lower, which means we can cut rates, to 1 or 2%, which means we can push up the economy. And then if you put AI in the mix, what can be the gains of productivity? That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying pricing perfection. Doesn't mean that everything will happen. It means that the market will start to price that. And with that, thank you very much for your support. Really glad to be here. Thank you for, accepting me with these suboptimal conditions. And I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.